Hello everyone, this is Toby. We have introduced the Ocean USB 2000 Plus spectrometer and Hamamatsu C12880 MA microspectrometer before. Today I will talk about the TLM3 microspectrometer, developed by our company. This spectrometer has small size, low power consumption, and strong adaptability. Length 26.6 mm, width 25.2 mm, height 20.25 mm. This is the comparison between it and Ocean Optics USB 2000 Plus, C12880 MA, and a dime. It should be noted that C12880 MA is a spectrometer probe without MCU, so it is not a spectrometer in the full sense. The front side is the light source inlet, with built-in DaoHuoZhe components and detectors. The data interface adopts a serial port communication protocol, which can be measured directly or integrated into mobile devices. Next, we will use mercury lamp, single wavelength laser, and a light source to take a look at its wavelength positioning accuracy, resolution, and irradiation correction. We tested Hamamatsu 12880 and TLM3 together. The left one is the mercury lamp spectrum measured by C12880, and the right one is measured by TLM3. Let's stop refreshing to see their peak wavelengths. This peak in C12880 is 365 nanometers. It is 366 nanometers in TLM3, and it should be 365.01 nanometers in theory. The second peak is 404 nanometers. It is 405 nanometers in TLM3, and it should be 404.6 nanometers in theory. The third peak is 435 nanometers. It is 436 nanometers in TLM3, and it should be 435.84 nanometers in theory. Compared with USB 2000 Plus, the spectral positioning of TLM and C12880 is more accurate. By comparison, we can see that the spectrum of TLM is obviously narrower than that of C12880. Next, we will verify it through a single wavelength light source. This is the spectral image of two spectrometers at the 532 nanometers. Let's magnify it to see the resolution. It peaked around 20,000. Let's calculate the half-width of full maxima around this peak. The left side corresponds to 526.5 nanometer, and the right side corresponds to 537.7 nanometer, so its half-peak width is 11.2 nanometer. It peaked around 21,000 in TLM. The left wavelength at 10,500 is 530 nanometers, and the right wavelength is 533.4 nanometers, so its half-peak width is 3.4 nanometer. This is a spectral image at 663 nanometers. It peaked around 20,000 in C12880. The left wavelength at 10,000 is 655.8 nanometer, and the right wavelength is 665.9 nanometers, so its half-peak width is 10.1 nanometers. It peaked around 21,600 in TLM. The left wavelength at 10,800 is 659.4 nanometers, and the right wavelength is 662.8 nanometers, so its half-peak width is 3.4 nanometers. Similarly, the half-peak width at 786 nanometers is 10.5 nanometers in C12880, and it is 3.6 nanometers in TLM. With comparison, it can be found that in the visible light area, the resolution of Hamamatsu C12880 is above 10 nanometers. The resolution of TLM is between 3 to 4 nanometer, which is smaller than half of Hamamatsu. This is a 908 nanometers laser light source. We can see that C12880 can no longer recognize the spectrum of the light source, because its spectral response range is only up to 850 nanometers. However, the range of TLM3 can be as high as 1030 nanometers, so it can be clearly distinguished. This is the A light source spectrum collected by TLM3. With another version of the test software, you can see a smooth curve in the visible light area. We mentioned in the previous video that the irradiation correction of Ocean and Hamamatsu is not very good, and even the irradiation correction has not been done. So the spectral curve is not smooth enough or has more deviation from the actual situation. The blue line in the picture on the right is the spectral line of the A light source given by CIE. The red line is the A light source spectral line measured by the Minolta spectrophotometer. Compared with Hamamatsu and the ocean, the A light source spectrum measured by TLM3 is quite beautiful. It also shows that TLM is accurate in irradiation correction and color temperature calculation. This is all for today's introduction. In the next video, we will evaluate the exposure strategy, refreshing frame rate, and irradiation consistency of TLM3. See you next time. Bye.